This is Gareth Southgate, and this is the Three Lions podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions podcast. My name is Russell Osborne and this is an independent England football supporters podcast. Happy New Year to you. Safe to say it's been a strange time since I last spoke to you. I hope you enjoyed the last podcast, that look back over the year and the little quiz. It's still there if you've not heard it yet. Now, since the back end of last year, I've been speaking with various people about England, so I've got some episodes to kickstart the year off whilst we wait for the start of those World Cup qualifiers in March. And speaking of which, I've got a special on that coming soon, which I hope you'll enjoy. Now, before we get into this first episode of 2021, I just wanted to mention the Lionhearts project that the FA, the England team and Lionesses put together, which I guess has been running over the past 5-6 months, assembling a squad of 23 individuals who have raised money, spirits and smiles during these hard times, seeing the amount of money raised by individuals for various good causes and all doing great things in the face of adversity has been, well, really inspiring. I really hope they get the chance to shine and maybe lead the team out at Wembley. Half-time appreciative applause or something, I don't know, hopefully in front of a crowd one day soon. Now, if you've not seen it, go Google Lionhearts England. Actually, one of them, Aisha Pakran Ovi, has been awarded a BEM in the Queen's New Year's Honours List. That is a British Empire medal. And which brings us on nicely to maybe some more familiar names that have been announced at the end of 2020. Gillian Coulthard, Jimmy Greaves and Ron Flowers were all awarded MBEs for services to football. Jill Coulthard was a former captain of the England women's team, before they were more commonly known as the Lionesses. In fact, you can hear her on a previous episode of this podcast, number 52. You can hear a chat I had with her. She was captain of the first England team to go to a Women's World Cup. Both Jimmy Greaves and Ron Flowers were members of the 1966 squad. Jimmy Greaves, he scored 44 goals in 57 appearances. Take that in, 44 in 57. Absolutely phenomenal record. And it was only injury that robbed him of playing more in the 66 tournament. And Ron Flowers played 49 times for England, scoring 10 times. Congratulations to all of them. Now, one piece of news that may have escaped your attention was the cancellation of the Under-17 European Championships this year that were due to be held in Cyprus between the 6th and 22nd of May. And this followed the cancellation of last year's tournament that was scheduled for Estonia, which, like this year, has been cancelled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, we had been drawn in the same qualifying group as Slovakia, Belarus and Armenia, but no games had been played yet. Hopefully, though, as we enter this new year, we can still look forward to the postponed European Championships from last year, Euro 2020, Euro 2021, call it what you want. With the restrictions that we've all had to endure over Christmas, I really don't have the foggiest idea of whether we as supporters will be able to physically be there to see it. Obviously, I hope so. And with the news of the new Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, it does give room for some optimism. But it has to be a safe environment for everyone. Decisions going to have to be made soon, though, I'd imagine, to get everything in place ready. Right, let's get on with this episode. I had a chat with England fan Sam Goldsworthy from It's Coming Home TV a while back. This is our conversation. I hope you'll enjoy it. Now, As always, it's great to speak with fellow England supporters, and I'm glad to say we're doing it again. I'd like you to welcome to the Three Lions podcast to Sam Goldsworthy, England and Burton Albion fan. Hello there, Sam.
How are we doing, Russell? You okay?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you, mate.
Great stuff. Now, people may know of you because you're the host of It's Coming Home TV, and you're very kind. You invited me on a little while back, and I thought, you know what, it's high time we returned the favour.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a privilege to have. Obviously, you were our first guest outside of the normal three or four of us, and obviously considering you obviously do a similar thing to us, it's always good to get people on that do the same thing, and obviously we can share ideas, and it's all for a good cause at the end of the day. Absolutely.
So how did It's Coming Home TV come about?
So I think we were halfway through lockdown. We're all a bit bored, and it was just you get a lot of time to think, and so you're trying to get things to look forward to. And obviously at the time it was obviously looking forward to the autumn games of England. At the time, obviously we didn't really know if we were going to be able to go or not. There was hope that we maybe could go. So we sort of just had a chat between a few of us, and we said, well, obviously there's a lot of fan channels as such out there for the club side. Obviously Arsenal Fan TV being your most famous one, and we just thought, well, there's not really anything out there for England fans in terms of visual fan content. Obviously, I know there's obviously yourself with the podcast, which is, absolutely fantastic. And it's, we give that a listen every time. But we just thought, something a bit like when squad reactions come out, or, team news, or post, match reactions, or, in-game videos. I know there's a couple of sort of vloggers, shall we say, that do that, but they're not sort of like committed England Travel Club members or things like that. So we just thought, let's sort of try and get something together. And at the start, it was, it's Zoom calls basically, and it's still in its early stages. And we thought, well, we'll get the first few out of the way, and then by the time September, October, November comes around, we'll be at the games and be able to, do videos. But here we are in November at the time of recording, and we're still none the wiser as to when we'll be allowed at games. So it's a bit unfortunate, really, but. Yeah, it's still in its obviously early stages. We're hoping to obviously grow it over the next few years. It's slow and steady. It's going to take time to build up a fan base or a following. But obviously, hopefully, when we start getting back to games, our content can get a bit more diverse, a bit better. The quality can improve, and hopefully we can get it. I'm not saying we'll get it to an Arsenal Fan TV standard, but we'll get it sort of any part of the way there would be fantastic, really, just to give something to the England fans to look back on.
Yeah, no, I wish you all the very best for that. And on the channel, you've got Michael, you've got Callum, and who's the other lad who's occasionally been with you?
Matt.
Matt, of course it is. I mean, are they the guys that you go to England games regularly with?
Yeah, so I sort of knew Michael first, just found him through Facebook, obviously saw that he was going to sort of England away days, and sort of had aspirations at the time back then to do the sort of thing myself. That's sort of how I sort of got in contact with him, and I met his partner Selena through him. And then the rest of the guys, Callum, Matt, Rebecca, everybody else sort of came through Michael, sort of through his circle. Okay. And when me and Kerry, my wife, joined the travel club and we went on our sort of first few away games, I think our first one was Spain, and then we went to a few more. But I think it was the Bulgaria one where we sort of got to meet everybody really as a group. And we sort of set up a Facebook Messenger group through all of us in that sort of group that met up in Bulgaria. And we've been, really good friends ever since. And I think that's one of the great things about following England, is that we would never have met these people if we, weren't going away with England. And, obviously we all live over different parts of the country, and this is like sort of the one thing that all brings us together. But yeah, they're, fantastic group of guys. And when I sort of mentioned the idea to them on the chat, they were, all supportive for it, and Callum had said himself he'd sort of been looking to sort of start something up quite similar. So yeah, they were all sort of well on board with it, and sort of thought we'd form a bit of a team and go from there, really.
Yeah, no, it's such a familiar story of hearing that England supporters meet other England supporters, and you build that bond, you build that friendship that can be lifelong lasting, really. So yeah, great to hear that's happened. So you mentioned, was that your first England away game, Spain?
Yeah, so it's always been something I'd wanted to do, but never sort of been in the right sort of place. either financially or work-wise to do it. But then sort of after the World Cup in 2018, I guess there's quite a few people really that sort of got that buzz and that, that inspiration to think, right, we're going to do this now. We're going to, go and join the travel club. We're going to go and follow the, England away. I'd been to sort of home games for a long period of time. I did I did an apprenticeship in 2013 at the FA, in the FA learning department. So it was basically working at St George's Park in the sort of like the coach education department. It was like a 1-year apprenticeship, and obviously we got sort of tickets through that as you do at the FA, and went to obviously I think every single sort of friendly in 2013. Obviously that was the big 150th anniversary year, so we had the likes of Ireland, Scotland, Brazil, etc. So it was a great year, and I'd sort of stuck to it sort of since. I'd obviously been to a few of the home games, and then 2018 came around and just thought, let's do it. So Spain away in the Nations League was the first one, and I don't think we really could have picked a better first away game really, going up to obviously into Seville. Nobody expected us to get anything, and to be sort of 3-0 up at half time was absolutely incredible. Memories that we'll never forget, and we thought, right, we're definitely doing this continuously now. This is the thing we want to do.
Oh, you're making me jealous, because that was one of the games that I didn't actually get to go to.
Okay.
I look back on that one and think, if only. Because, the stories about the rain in Spain and Betis's ground. I mean, I've been there before. It's great. It's a great city. It's a great ground. But to see England, as you say, win there in Seville in that Nations League campaign, great. And then did you go on to Portugal for the Nations League?
Yes, we did. Yes. So I can remember instantly being on the train coming back from the Croatia game, and we were sort of already booking hotels and sort of looking at flights and things like that. And Portugal was just a fantastic week. I think we flew out on it was either the Sunday evening or the Monday morning, and we had a whole week there basically. I think we stayed from it must have been the Sunday through to the Monday. Had a whole week in Porto. Got to see so much stuff. And I think my sort of best memory from it was, I think it was the Saturday after we'd lost the Netherlands, obviously the day before the fourth place playoff, and going down to sort of like that, the riverbank where obviously we got the view of the bridge and the river. It was absolutely beautiful, scorching hot day. And obviously the amount of England fans that were out, having a great time, obviously dancing along to the music. You wouldn't, you'd have thought we were in the final, not having lost. And I think that just shows the spirit and the passion of, England fans that, whatever the result, we'll create memories. We'll go and enjoy these experiences. And, as you say, meet new people, create memories. And Portugal, as you say, was fantastic. Obviously, a bit disappointing with the semi-final, having that Jesse Lingard winner and then having it ruled out by VAR. The adrenaline still going through. You don't really know what's going on, what's happening, because obviously in them early stages of VAR, they didn't really explain, what was going on and what was happening. It was only, I think, when the television pictures were coming through and people were sending us stuff from home that we could see it was basically a toenail. And it was a bit it took us sort of a day to get over it, of how disappointing it was that we hadn't got to the final, because I think it would have been a great occasion at obviously Porto's ground. We did manage to go to the Portugal Switzerland game the day before, so I did manage to get to Porto's ground. But the final would have been a great occasion. But nonetheless, it was a fantastic week, and as you say, it's memories that will last for a lifetime. Yeah,
exactly. And you say about going to Porto's ground there. I actually wandered up to it, so I didn't go in. But I've seen from your, I think, Twitter account or Facebook account, you're a bit of a ground hopper yourself.
Yeah, so I'm basically, obviously, I was a Burton Albion fan for about, I still am, but I was a Burton Albion season ticket holder for 11 years. That was, that's my team. That's the one I followed. And obviously following them in non-league gave me a sort of a passion for non-league football. And I've volunteered at a couple of sort of non-league clubs over the years at Roaster and Mickleover Sports. And I just love going to sort of new grounds, ticking off as many as I can. I think I'm sort of like in the 286 at the moment or something like that. I just love, going to different grounds. I think I've been to 2 or 3 in Germany as well, sort of on Bundesliga match days, and they're fantastic over there. I think Hamburg and Bayer Leverkusen were unreal. How cheap the tickets are, how more relaxed the fans are, and obviously they can have drinks in the stands, and the tickets are a lot cheaper, and it's fantastic. And I just love going to watch a game any night I can. It's sort of that thing that, especially when you realise now, when there's no football at non-league level going on, how much you miss it, because it's sort of that thing that gets you through the week or gets you through that Tuesday or that Friday into the weekend, and it's that thing to sort of look forward to at the end of the week or on that Tuesday or Wednesday night. So yeah, hopefully, obviously, we can get back to it sooner rather than later. But any type of football, I'm always, whatever level, I'm always up for watching it.
Great stuff. Well, I mean, hopefully next year, I say probably this year, as we're talking 2021. We will be in a state of play that we can go to England games again, maybe a bit in a smaller capacity. We're yet to know. I mean, how do you feel about England going forward? Obviously, we didn't make it to the Nations League final this time around, which is a shame, but it is what it is. But we've still got the Euros to look forward to, and hopefully maybe some new grounds for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, it's disappointing not to get there again. But I don't think it's the end of the world. End of the day, you look at, Portugal have missed out. Switzerland have missed out, probably been relegated at the time of recording. And I think the only team out of the four from the last one is probably the Netherlands that might not have got through. So end of the day, if you think how many teams are across this, 12 teams across the League A, and only 4 can get through. And it's such a... But I love, as you say, I love the Nations League. I think it means that teams can pit themselves against similar level teams, and it gives you an idea of where the team is at that point. So yeah, going into 2021, obviously the Euros, we're probably not as confident as we were, say, after the Montenegro and Kosovo games at the end of qualifying. But I think we've just got to put things into a bit of a perspective and think, there are some other strong teams out there. Everyone's vying for the same competition, same trophy. It's going to be, whatever happens with the tournament, whether it's, stays as it is, or if it's reduced countries, or if it's one country. If it's in the UK, fantastic. That would be absolutely brilliant. But I think it will be a great tournament, if fans are allowed in. Obviously, we don't know yet, but, hopefully with the, things are starting to look up again. We can see a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, and we can sort of get some sort of form of fans back in. Hopefully by the summer, things would have calmed down a bit. But obviously we've had we don't know at this time we're recording, but we'll obviously have the World Cup qualifying. Probably a couple of games in March. It'd be nice to get to some, as you say, some new grounds, some new places. And that's probably another thing that's brilliant about following England, is the places that you go to, you would probably never think to go to in any other form of life, and on holiday or anything like that. So sort of like, the smaller teams, you've got your San Marinos, your Gibraltars. Gibraltar would be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, and anything sort of different, a new experience, a new country, a different scenario. Yeah, that it'd be fantastic to go and experience England away in something completely different.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me when I appeared on It's Coming Home TV, you had a bit of a mission going between Czech Republic and Bulgaria. Go on, do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. So obviously there wasn't really any direct flights as such between Prague and Sofia. There was obviously a few options flying wise, but they were obviously very expensive.
Yeah.
So again, it's another thing about following England. It's trying to find sort of different and unique ways, because obviously, as we all know, when the fixtures get done and the dates get set, all the prices go up as the demand goes up. So it's about, I guess, trying to find unique ways to try and get to games. Basically, my story was that we took 2 buses over, I think it was 800, 900 miles to get from Prague to, as you say, Sofia. I think initially we flew in from to Berlin and got a bus down from there to Prague for the Czech Republic game.
Yeah.
And then we got a bus from Prague to Budapest in Hungary, which was about 7.5 hours in the daytime. And then we probably had about a 3 or 3.5 hour layover in Budapest, which was great, to be fair, because never been to the city before. We managed to have a bit of time wandering around, sort of checking out a few of the sites. And obviously they've got the lovely the riverbanks there and stuff, and it was really good. And then it was about 11, 12 hour overnight bus through Serbia over to the other side, which was it was an experience. You think, I'll get to sleep on the bus, but you never do. Yeah, it was interesting. I think it took an hour and a half to 2 hours just to cross in between Hungary and Serbia. And then obviously once you get into Serbia, you lose all your phone connection with it being outside of the EU, and you don't get any until the other side. I just remember there was a Bulgarian lady on there. And as we got through the other side, she was saying to everybody, she was saying, "Oh, well, you might as well get your sleep now because it's 6 hours to the other side of Serbia." And it was like, oh my God. so yeah, to make it great, there was a few other sort of England supporters on the coach as well.
I was going to ask that.
So yeah. So there was a few on there. So it made for it made you think, well, we're not the only one doing this. And it was, great to again meet some new people, share some stories about England away days, and I think we got over to the other side into Bulgaria, got into Sofia about 8 a.m, and yeah, we were just absolutely knackered. I think we picked our we had a bit of food, picked our tickets up, went straight to the hotel, and just slept for the whole night because we were just absolutely, as you say, shattered from the journey. But yeah, it was worth it in the end. Watching a 6-0, obviously what happened during the game wasn't so great, but. Yeah, I think the result in the end made it all worthwhile in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I guess being so new onto the travel club front, you've been quite fortunate to get tickets for so many games. So you must have worked your way up the ladder quite a bit.
Yeah, so obviously I've been to loads and loads of home games over the years.
Of course,
so I think that sort of helped. But I think we've been quite fortunate. Spain, I think we got I think we got through the second chance sale, which was helpful. Prague was obviously, we were a bit umming and ahhing with Prague because we thought, they're only going to allow a certain amount of fans in, but all credit to the people in the travel club. They managed to get us to say a very, very generous allocation for Prague, which meant that we could get tickets. I think I got a ticket automatically. Kerry, I think, had to go through the second chance sale. So we were in sort of different parts of the ground. I think I got one of the cheap tickets. She got one of the expensive ones. So she was like a completely different sort of side of the ground to me. So, but we got in the end. So, and obviously say Bulgaria, we bruised through quite comfortably. Montenegro, I think last year, in 2019, that was a bit of an expensive one because it was such a small allocation of tickets in the away end, we missed out through that, quite comfortably.
Yeah.
But what happened was, I think it was the travel, obviously the official travel company at the time, obviously they wanted to get a few more England fans in, so they sort of offered a ticket in the family and friends section along with the.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So, but obviously to get that ticket, you had to take sort of like the day package, flying from Stansted in the morning, coming back afterwards. So yeah, that was quite an expensive one, but again, totally worth it.
Yeah.
Considering I'd never been to Montenegro, you never think you're going to go to a city so small as that. I think you could walk around it in about an hour. It was, it was tiny, and as you say, great performance. Again, marred by events beyond our control, sadly, in terms of the racism stuff that happened. But again, another great experience, and having to sit where I was, sort of behind the dugouts, and I say there was a few other people that had done the sort of same thing as me, and as you say, you get chatting to them, and it was a great experience. And you say I've been quite lucky in a way, but at the same time we've been a bit unlucky really with the fact that we had the Croatia game behind closed doors, and then COVID's hit, and we've missed out on so much football this year. So it's painful really that it's been over a year since we've been able to watch the Three Lions in person. So it's been a kick in the teeth really, but hopefully 2021 and leading into the World Cup in 2022 and beyond. Obviously we've got some great things to look forward to in the next few years, with obviously the next Euros after the World Cup in sort of US, Canada, Mexico in 2026. There's some great things to look forward to in the future for all England fans, I think.
I think you're very right, and good to hear some real positive, good memories there. It's always good to hear those. Sam, thank you very much for your time. It is, of course, It's Coming Home TV. You can find it on YouTube, can't you?
Yeah, so it's obviously you can find it on YouTube if you just type It's Coming Home TV, and then we've got the Twitter pages, Facebook page, and Instagram. Again, if you just type It's Coming Home TV, they'll all come up for you. You can give them a follow or a like, and hopefully as in 2021 we'll have a lot more content going forward. As we get back into grounds.
Great stuff, Sam. Thank you very much, and let's meet up at some stage.
Absolutely, mate. No worries. Look forward to it.
Thanks to Sam there for his time. Good to chat with him. And I'm sure in time we'll catch up with the other guys that contribute to the channel. Thanks for listening. I wish you all the best for the new year and hope to chat and meet up with many more of you as the year goes along. Don't forget, you can follow the podcast on many of the social channels. Just search 3 Lions Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's also on YouTube too. If you know of someone who would benefit from subtitles, it's all there on YouTube. But you can also find it on the majority of podcast platforms, and I'd be properly grateful if you'd give it a review on iTunes. In the meantime, let's start the year off standing strong, mentally and physically. Stick to the rules. The more we do it, the quicker we can get out of this mess. And I'll be back soon with another episode. So until then, cheers.